Good evening. How are you guys doing? Well, it's turning into a nice evening here in mid-Michigan after some thunderstorms. But that's how things go, right? You get thunderstorms and you get some nice clear air for a while, then it gets all humid and yucky and muddy, and then we get thunderstorms. You you know. Oh, so thanks for joining me here for Meditation Mondays, episode 16. I know, what? I'm Daryl Gregory. I'm a certified meditation coach, teacher, and also a yoga teacher. And the thing that I wrote about today and posted on Substack was developing a guidebook for ourselves. So through our practice, and that can be meditation, it can be yoga, it could be Tai Chi, it could be prayer. Um, it could be any type of meditative, focused, and introspective practice. And what we're doing is we're trying to, for example, in yoga, we map out the body with connecting with the mind and the breath. When we move, like say we're moving into Warrior Two, uh, we map out how the breath and the mind guide us into Warrior Two, where our alignment is, and then not only alignment, but knowing how our body feels in that asana, knowing what we feel like, not only internally, but also in our environment as well. So we notice people on the other mat, right? We notice the teacher demonstrating. We notice our internal thoughts of the past saying, "Oh, I could never do crow pose before. I can't, and it's going to be so hard to do it now." She's calling, she meaning the teacher's calling out for crow pose. I can't do crow. Oh, look at this person next to me on this mat, and they just go right into. So all of those things, that internal story, and what our practice does is it creates this guidebook for us so that when we come up to these situations, we know to pause, mind the gap. And I love saying mind the gap. So we have this gap between um, the thing that's happening and our reaction. So thing that's happening, gap, and then reaction. So we have the the situation. We mind the gap, and then we look at the thoughts that spring up from the situation. And then here's the thing that comes with practice. We check the guidebook. We check this map because we've been down this road before, and we choose the best route back to our breath, back to the present moment, because we're always trying to find our way back to the present moment, right? And it sounds simple, but it's not. It's difficult. But the difficulty is, it's taken care of through practice. um, when we sit for meditation, we're always noticing thoughts. And one of the things that teachers constantly say, my teachers have said, is that when you're sitting and meditating on on your breath and the thoughts come in, you notice them. You have the choice of latching on, creating a story, but you can greet the thought, notice it, and then let it go. And in doing that, you are making friends with yourself. You're getting to know yourself because I don't know how to put this, because you are taking the time to stop and listen to yourself. That's how you make friends in the real world. Um, the best friends are the ones who will stop and look you in the face, make eye contact, and then listen. and not just listen with an I response coming, when you pause. Oh yeah, I remember when that happened to me. No, but listening and really trying to just be with you. And that's what you're doing in meditation. You're listening to the thought, you're noticing the thought, and then you're being with the thought. And that's how you make friends with yourself, getting to know yourself. And that all goes into the guidebook. And then the guidebook brings us back to the present moment. Yeah. So, what we're doing here, sitting together and meditating together, watching the breath together, is we're compiling those routes back to the breath, back to the present moment. So, so let's recall our three things that we need for our meditation practice. Finding a seat. So make sure that your sit bones are nice and solid, either on the ground or on a cushion. I'm sitting in a chair. My back is away from the chair, and my feet are flat on the floor. Hands are palm down on top of my thighs, or you could use a mudra. Back is long, neck is long, continuing my back, crown of the head going towards the ceiling. Chin is slightly tucked, and I'm gazing forward. Now let's talk about that gaze. If you don't want to stare at me for the whole 15 minutes that we meditate, you can turn your chair to the side. I do that often when I meditate with large groups on Zoom, because I meditate with my eyes open. So eyes open, eyes closed, your choice. Next thing we do is we find the breath. So the breath is coming in through the nose and out through the nose. And we notice the point right at the tip of our nose where the breath is coming in. And then we notice the breath going out. And we follow it in and out. And that's our anchor. That's our anchor to the present moment. And then thoughts will come into your mind. And what we do, like I said, is we notice, we sit with the thought, we don't try to create a story around it, we don't latch on, we don't ruminate and toss it over and try to see it from different sides, we just sit with it, and then it goes on. So it really doesn't, the thoughts don't want to stay there. They move on because new thoughts are crowding in behind them. Let them go. But if you latch on and you start to create that story, notice, say, thinking, or say something like I'm latching on, and then come back to the breath. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment. There's no right or wrong. There's no, oh, you're doing this bad or anything like that. You're just coming back to the breath. And that, my friends, is the practice. Okay? Simple, simple, but a practice. Okay, so I'm going to set my timer here. We will sit silently for 15 minutes. Find your seat. Find the breath. Notice the thoughts and then come back to the breath. Taking a deep breath. Move your fingers, move your toes. So a consistent practice where you are noticing your thoughts like that will help you create a guidebook for when you come into those situations where you know you shouldn't just react. You should mind the gap, look at those thoughts, and consult that guidebook for your best route back to the present moment and being present with whoever you're with or whatever is happening. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Join me for yoga on Wednesday morning with the neighbor ladies. They come over and we practice yoga together. Also Friday at 6 p.m. right after work. So at the end of a long week. So join me for yoga this week, and I will see you next time for episode 17 of Meditation Mondays. Take care.